That's almost a 400% increase in a week. This video is sponsored by Webull, and from today until December 28th, Webull is giving away free stocks and crypto. So when you open your account and start with any amount, you're gonna get 2 free stocks, and then when you activate Webull crypto trading and make 1 crypto trade worth $1, then you're gonna get $5 worth of any of these coins. So make sure that you use my link in the description below. Now to the video. Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Foxtel Digital coming to you again with Black Girl Stocks, and this is another segment of our top 3 option plays this week, where we're just going to go over a few different trades, stock fundamentals, and different strategies that you can do to make it through. Okay, but first, if this is your first time watching this video, please make sure that you click that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel. Also subscribe. Click that notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video for you guys. Okay, so a quick recap of last week's plays. Okay, so we were bearish on ZNGA starting around $6.11 because of the overall trend. So that was around right here. It moved up to $6.70 on Wednesday, but eventually, you know, it did kind of start to move downward, closing out the week at $6.24. So it's still higher than it was when we were looking at it, but it does look like that downtrend, you know, is starting to continue going into next week. So if you guys are still interested in that, just move out some of the numbers, but it's still going to be the same strategy for this. All right, and next up was Disney, and we were also bearish on this starting around $146.22 with a similar chart pattern, and you'll kind of see it has performed in a similar fashion. It did actually move up last week. Is it going to continue that downtrend going into the rest of the year? Timing is a big thing with trend reversal positions like we're trying. Last week just wasn't it, and that's okay. But it eventually dropped down to 152.71 closing the week. So we'll see what happens with Disney. And lastly was Apple. Okay, so once again, this stock really showed out this week. We were bullish on Apple starting around $161.84, and we were really just basing this off of the bullish flag pattern that we have been just trading for the last couple of weeks. And we ended up closing the week at $179.45, and we didn't look at the previous options, the actual option contracts that we were looking at for the last 2, because obviously, you know, they lost value. So there's really no point in looking at those. Hopefully nobody got into those trades because, like I said in our Wednesday recap, we did not hit those target entry prices. So that's why I like to use those. If it doesn't hit my target, I do not enter that trade. Okay. We were looking at the $165 call for December 17th. So when we were looking at it, the call premium was $2.80. So that's basically $280 for that contract when we got into it. Right now that same option is, so if you actually held on to that throughout the week, it's now worth $14.95. So that's basically $1,500 per contract. So if you bought 5 of those, well, that's almost a 400% increase in a week. Wow. All right, so let's get into this week's plays. So the first stock that I want to look at is QCOM, that's Qualcomm, and right now it's trading at $183.88. Now, we've talked about Qualcomm before, so a lot of you know about the company. You know, they do everything from making smartphone chips, cellular towers and networks that connect your cell phones to pretty much the world. They have their hands in all of the bags. Now investors are going to be focused more in the tech stocks and the semiconductor sector. It looks like we have a breakout pattern. With the breakout pattern, you'll just kind of see higher lows, and at the same time we have lower highs. And after that, it's not set in stone, but usually you will see a breakout. Now, a lot of people will say, well, which direction is the breakout going to happen? And a lot of times the breakout is going to happen in the similar direction of the overall trend. So if you see, since that last earnings report that they had back in the beginning of November, the stock has just gone crazy since then. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, just some positive outlook for the stock news wise. The White House is putting a lot of pressure on Congress to pass a budget of about $52 billion to help computer chip companies over the next 5 years. And this is going to help to ease shortages in companies that are pretty much essential to our our tech heavy lifestyle. Another thing is large investment companies recently added more shares of QCOM to their portfolio. Different companies like this, like I said, they're big time investment companies. Jennison alone holds a little over 25,000 shares of QCOM in their portfolio right now. So, you know, they're very well known investment companies with high return rate. So with them adding more pieces of the Qualcomm pie, you know, it's a good sign right now for that continued uptrend. Going into next week, if I'm going to be bullish on QCOM, I'm going to have my entry position set around 184 to 185, and it's just slightly above the high that we were on Friday. So if I was going to look for option positions, to look at the December 23rd options, so that gives us about 12 days, I'm going to look at the 187.5 calls. Now it's just slightly out of the money, 2.62 premium, but it's just kind of something to look into. I really like this one. And the next stock is AMD. This is Advanced Micro Devices. I'm really only looking at this strictly based on the charts. There's really not much fundamental reasoning for why, and this position is going to be bearish. So AMD dropped about 17% since reaching this high of 164 around the beginning of December. So, I mean, the only thing that would make that even worse is if it actually got to a point where we had this death crossover right there, the death cross. So going into next week, if I was going to be bearish on this position and anticipate it continuing in that downtrend, I'm gonna have my entry somewhere around this 136 area. This was a low point for it on Friday. Gonna kind of give me a good indication that it's definitely moving downward. All right, so if I was gonna do something for this, I'm gonna pick the December 23rd expiration date. Slightly out of the money, I'm going to pick the 136. Now, if that's too much, that's no problem. You can do a debit spread with this, and you'll just do a debit put spread. So if we're buying the 136, then you would sell something a little bit further out of the money, like the 134. And so with the one that we bought and the one that we sold, you're gonna have a debit with that. So they'll cancel out and you'll have a lower premium, and you're gonna have a little less profits with that, but that's okay. It's still profitable, so nobody is excluded from doing these trades. If they're a little bit more pricey, then just do a debit spread. You can still get into play, okay? The last stock is Apple. Okay, so our main squeeze this month. Now, this position, once again, is really just based off of the chart patterns. So let's see what happens. So with the huge increase in the price in such a short amount of time, now we can kind of start to anticipate a healthy pullback or a trend reversal. So since Apple's last earnings report back in November, the stock has jumped close to 20% in such a short amount of time. Now the RSI is at 76 right now. It's looking a little hot. It looks like it might need to slow down. So going into next week, if I was anticipating that pullback and do a bearish position, I'm gonna be picky. I would need to see the price move at least to 178 to 177.50. If I was going to do something with Apple that's gonna be bearish, it's gonna be a little bit further out. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick the December 23rd expiration date. I'm gonna go ahead with the 175 put. And I feel like this would be a good position to get in if Apple starts to show signs of a pullback. All right, make sure that you check out this video on how to look at options open interest and volume in different ways that you can start to use them in picking your option trade. That goes for day trading, swing trading, scalping. Make sure you check that out. Okay, check out that pressure.